There's one pattern that's been very effective for us in all different kinds of waters, and it's the Columbia River bugger. Today I want to tie you the modern Columbia River bugger, so make sure you have these materials ready before you tie the fly. For the hook, we'll use a size 6 4x long streamer, some 6/0 black thread to tie with, some .025 lead-free wire for the weight, some Charisse black marabou for the tail, some small pearl black Estaz for the body, a natural brown saddle hackle for the hackle, and some medium copper wire for the rib. So to start the fly off, before I put my thread on, I'm going to take my .025 lead-free wire, and I just want to get some weight on this pattern. Mainly because it is a river pattern, we want it down deep. And just keep wrapping it forward once through. I'm going to probably use up about 2/3 of the hook. Leave a little room by your eye. Make sure it's all stacked together, and then I go back over it once, just near the head, about 7 or 8 wraps. And then pull off my wire. Now that I have the body built up with the weight, I'm going to put on my black thread, take a few wraps near the eyelet just to wrap it in. And then what I'm going to do is just wrap my thread back to my tail and go over the body a little bit, tie in some of that wire so it's not going to move at all. So I form a little dam at the back of the wire. Keep building up the thread there so it's not going to move when you tie in the body. And then move it back up to the front and do the same there. Tie a little dam near just behind the eyelet so your lead can't move. And then finish off, move your thread to the tail end of the hook to tie in your tail. Now when we're ready to tie in the tail, we have our thread to the back of the hook, and I've taken again a feather. And what I'm going to do is pull all the fibers down just like this and get rid of that very tip. That tip doesn't move in the water, and I want to get rid of it. I'm going to pull them all together, put about the length of the hook, and tie it in for the tail. And you're just going to get a little bit of that Charisse, that pink color, into the fly, and that's what we want. We want just a small little hot spot at the tail end of the fly. Next step, now that we've got the tail tied in, we're going to take our medium copper wire, and we're going to wrap that in. Make sure you tie it in good, and then this will form the rib a little bit later to hold the hackle in, so we'll keep that off the back. Now that we have the wire tied in, we're going to put in our hackle, and I'm tying it in by the tip. I want this to be shorter at the back and slowly get bigger towards the front, so tie it in by the tip, and we'll keep it off the back to hackle up the fly later. Now that we have the rib and the hackle tied in, I'm going to take my body material. I'm going to tie it into the back, wrap it right back to the tail. Bring your thread forward all the way to the eyelet, and then start wrapping the Estaz forward to form the body. And keep pulling the material back so you can build up a bit of a body on this fly. Now the body's tied in, we're going to take our hackle, and I want to wrap it forward. So again, the same way we put our body in, just going to keep wrapping it, and take about 6 to 7 turns up the body. Keep pulling the hackle back. When you get to the eye, you want to take about 4 or 5 turns and just leave it bushy to start. So near the eye, you want a nice bushy front on the fly and tie off there. Now the hackle's tied in, we're going to take our wire, medium wire, and again just reverse it, opposite direction, and just make sure you wind it through. And this is going to hold the hackle in place and give it a little ribbed body. So again, take about 6 or 7 turns up. And just finish off just before you get to your eyelet and tie it off there. Now that we have the wire tied in, we're going to bring all our thread to the front of the hook, and we're going to just build up a nice big black head on this fly. Pull all that hackle back so it splays back onto the hook, and then once we have a head built up, take our whip finisher and whip finish off the head. And I like to head cement this fly. I like to hold it in place, so we'll take some of our head cement and put a small dab on. So there it is, the modern Columbia River bugger. Really the only variations we've done here is change the body material. Well, I really like the color of this Estaz. It's got a really nice glitter to it, and also added the tail in there, a little bit of that Charisse color for the hot spot on the tail. Very effective. To watch all our latest Sport Fishing on the Fly episodes and to order Sport Fishing on the Fly merchandise, head to www.sfotf.ca, and if you would like to book an adventure like this one shown, head to ontheflyadventures.ca and book yourself the trip of a lifetime.